Another piece of information that is coming in before I go across to General. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has in fact spoken over the phone, and he has spoken with the President of the United Arab Emirates, which is Sheikh Mohamed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Now, the Prime Minister has in fact also said that he has strongly condemned these attacks that have in fact been carried out in the UAE, which has in fact resulted in the loss of innocent lives and damage to civilian infrastructure as well. If I could go across to General Sudhakarji on this. General, a very good morning to you. Today, when we're looking at this entire situation that is currently unfolding, the ambassador and I, we were just talking about how Iran has lost two of its top officials. It has lost Ali Larijani. He was the chief architect of the security apparatus in Iran. And he was in fact also a very crucial member of the nuclear, drawing out that nuclear strategy and document of Iran. And the other person is Ghulam Reza, who was in fact the head of the besieged force. Now, this force, General, is the one that is responsible for suppressing all public dissent in Iran. So these were two stinging thorns that US and Israel were actually looking at. One was public dissent that they tried to suppress, and the other was the civil nuclear infrastructure that they had in fact a problem with. And both of the leaders of these two concepts have now been eliminated. Who do you think now has the upper hand in this war?
Good morning, Shivani. Thank you for inviting me for your morning show, and my very warm greetings to distinguished and esteemed co-panelists, a very accomplished ambassador. As regards to the question which you have raised, we need to understand the bigger picture. It is not this side or that side. This ding-dong battle will go on for a long time, as I visualize, as ambassador also has put it across. Why it will go on is because it is driven by a conceptual framework, a kind of a doctrine, which is driven by a document called as clean break. I think I alluded to this in your channel in the morning show yesterday. A clean break is a top secret or it's a classified kind of a decision, bipartisan decision taken by USA, not publicly not been released. Selectively it might have come out off and on. It basically says there is no place for Palestinians in the Middle East. They have to be relocated to some other place. And second thing it also alludes to is that the Middle East is going to be converted into some kind of a greater Israel. This is a long-term plan which has been put into place, and no other preceding presidents except for Donald Trump have fallen into as a prey for this. And Netanyahu has had a field day in dragging him into these conflicts, despite his commitment to his constituency that he will not open or start a new war during his election campaign before 2.0 tenure. So with this backdrop, let me answer your query. So while on one hand you have a long drawn affair, because regime change in a country like Iran is not that easy, you have raised two moot issues. One is about the capability to hold, bind the nation together, and second is the nuclear energy issue. Now, you must understand that Iran is a theocratic society which has been in existence for past 47 years, from 1979 till 28th of February, and even thereafter it has been going on, number one. Number two, this conflict which is ongoing, Iran has been preparing for past several, if not more, at least for 2 decades. From 2005-06, they have been preparing for it. So while preparing for it, they have anticipated, they have visualized that things will happen the way it is unfolding gradually, and they have catered for the contingencies. One of the issues is that people must understand that Iran as on today has got layers of leaders in the hierarchy. On the top is the supreme leader, and supreme leader is supported by, you have IRGC, which is giving very close intimate protection, as also helping him to handle things like military. You have economy, you have diplomacy, host of things. And also you have a assembly of experts, that is some sort of a, call it a majlis or call it as a parliament. These 88 people, they go on to actually decide issues, make policies and formulate. And below that is the executive level. Then you have a council of guardians, and it's called by a different name in Iran. Guardians means they are supposed to carry out a clinical scrutiny of all the laws passed by the Majlis. They make sure that it does not depart from the Islamic, fundamental Islamic or radical Islam teachings. So likewise, they have different means. And apart from this vertical that I've explained, they have gone in for line of succession. People say three, but I have read it number of places, open sources. There are 5 layers of succession. That is part of the concept of mosaic administration, mosaic structure. Mosaic structure of defense means that the power and the authority of which earlier used to be controlled by one vertical has actually been delegated to multiple. They have 31 provinces. Each province has been empowered with the authority to take command decision and exercise it to defend their respective provinces. So they have the clerics, they have the political authority, they have the IRGC head, they have the Iranian army, and within each province they have gone in for a thing called as dispersion of leadership and dispersion of infrastructure and dispersion of defense production line. So defense production line is not at one place. Like some of the countries, they have the ordnance factories at one place. No, they have gone in for the dispersion. They have multiple storage facilities, they have decoys, etc., etc. We need to keep in mind 2 issues. One, firstly, the surge capacity of the Iran. People may not be aware of this fact. They had a stockpile of these kamikaze drones called as Shahid 136. There are multiple varieties. One is 238. Shahid 136 can travel up to a distance of ranges around 2000 kilometers. 238 can go up to 4000 kilometers, and beyond it can cover much part of the Europe. And it has got a navigational, state-of-the-art navigational capability. It has got a loitering ammunition capability, etc., etc. It has got initial lock-in data, mid-course correction, and terminal guidance. And it is controlled by a satellite called as the Baidu satellite of China. So such like, and every day they have the capability, it's called a surge capability. Surge capability is, it can produce something close to 400 drones per day. Earlier the cost was $20,000. Now I believe the mass production is taking place at different places underground. It's monthly they reach a target of 12,000 kamikaze drones. So this is the kind of a capability. Missile, yes, they might have expanded. They had open source was saying 3,000. I for one have been maintaining right from day one that they started missile production with a target of 30 missiles per month. Per year was 3,600 from 1984-85. Even if you minus, let's say, Iraq War, Gulf War 1, Desert Storm 1, 2, and whatever, and this 12 days conflict of last year, still they cross 10 lakhs, more than 1 million. And people say they counter it by saying missiles have a retirement age. So yes, missiles have, all weapon systems have a retirement age. When push comes to shove, a situation in this, these old missiles, they are being rejuvenated and they are being used for, the concept of firing by Iran is by 2 principles. Saturation attack means what? By volume, and in a limited time frame. They have volume and simultaneity. For volume, they want to trigger the interceptors of Iron Dome, interceptors of USA, and let them go west. They have exhausted the interceptors of Israel and USA armada to large an extent, and thereby they penetrate the entire window or that horizon or the stretch with the kamikaze drones. And kamikaze drones are very, very effective. So against one drone, which is costing say $20,000 or $15,000 to $20,000, They are applying minimum one missile, and one missile is costing 4 million. Look at the cost ratio, $4 million to $20,000. It is 200 times the cost which Iran is spending. But being a military man, let me also tell you, nobody can ever neutralize an oncoming attacking projectile or platform with one missile. You have to fire minimum 2 to 3 shots, then only the hit is guaranteed or assured. So 2 to 3 shots means 3 missiles. 4 into 3 is 12 million. Look at the force or the cost factor multiplying. And interceptor, let me tell you, one interceptor cost 1.1 million to 11.1 million, depending on the caliber of the oncoming projectile. And it takes anything between 1.5 to 3 years to manufacture. Today, the stock levels in US and Israel have gone down to such a low level that they have to be very, very careful. And therefore, the Pentagon has gone in for, generally they demand for 1 year's requirement. This time they have gone in for 4 times or 5 times the requirement. Generally in routine they used to demand. So these things, if you keep in view, I would say, I tend to agree with what Ambassador says. They're not going to actually surrender in a quick time frame. It will be a kind of a thing. They are being pushed into go into guerrilla warfare tactics. Yes, there is a counterpoint. People say the Kurdish, 10 million Kurdish, all 10 million are not there for insurgency. Maybe 50,000, 1 lakh or so. It's not that easy. They have been cheated for 1 century. Same America, United Kingdom, they promised them an independent and autonomous state or identity. It has not happened. They are trying. America is trying its best in Syria by giving them language as this thing, an entity, a separate, being included in the constitution. They are being identified as an entity in Syria as a trial measure. How far will it succeed? I really can't say. But the fact remains about the nuclear energy. 440 now has become 460 kgs. It has been going up from 400 to 408, 410, 440. Now the open source has started saying it is 460 kgs, more than 60% of enrichment. And the IAEA inspectors, they have been denied any kind of surveillance and entry for past 9 months. 9 months is good enough to make a nuclear bomb, because after having reached 60%, from 60 to 89 or 90%, it doesn't require much time. 6 months are more than enough. So therefore, and also if you count from 28 February, because the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, he was dead against making a nuclear bomb. He said it is morally, ethically against the teachings of Allah, and as far as the cleric regime was concerned, he did not allow them to produce. But I have my reasons to believe that Iran has already got the nuclear bombs, call it tactical or whatever. They are keeping it in hiding. Otherwise, this enriched uranium would have been actually displayed in open platform, and rather than going into some kind of a wilderness which neither the USA nor Israel have been able to pinpoint. Back to you.
Right, General, some really insightful points that you have raised, but let me just introduce another piece of breaking news that is coming